Season 9 tier list for some of the royal units in Omniheroes. You might notice there are a lot less hero in this tier list, and here's the reason. So if you compare tier lists created with tier maker to tier lists that's displayed in a Google Sheet, obviously the Google Sheet will have more information. But the advantage of tier maker is that it's easier to read. However, if I include all the heroes, then this will be too overwhelming to read as well. So that's why I only included the good heroes. For the heroes that are not in this tier list, it's not that they are completely useless. First, they might not be D&D heroes. This tier list is only for the D&D heroes. Second is that they are not the heroes that you want to choose consciously. By which I mean that if you get, let's say, a Gloria in the Oracle Summon, you might be very happy because you can find use for her. However, when it comes to buying heroes in Oracle Shop or O3 Call, there are way better options than Gloria. That's why she's not in this tier list. Now, let's go over some of the heroes in this list. First, we have Cleopatra. Cleopatra is very strong this season due to this new Tomb Treasure game mode. It requires heroes of different synergies. And the good thing about Cleopatra is that she can be any synergies. Now, the sad thing is you cannot get Cleopatra right now. She's only available in some limited time event, and basically she's a pay-to-win hero. And speaking of pay to win, if you decided to spend money in this game, you can use Aptoid to save from 10% to 20% in every purchase. All you have to do is download the Aptoid version of Omniheroes and follow the instruction to update the app. Then download Aptoid Wallet and apply the promo code ChronoOH to Aptoid Wallet, and you can get bonus from 10% to 20% next time you make in-game purchase. The next three heroes, Elisha, Dahlia, and Gaia, are the three strongest heroes that are also free-to-play accessible. So they're available in Oracle Shop as well as the reward for Rift Odyssey. The general consensus is that Elisha is a little bit better than Dahlia, and Dahlia is a little bit better than Gaia. However, their power levels are really close, and eventually you will need all three of these heroes to pass certain stages as well as perform well in PvP. Another thing is, Dahlia, like a lot of other old heroes, she has diminishing return after she reaches 7 star, but for Elisha and Gaia, their power level increase all the way up to 12 star, by which I mean they have this Oath Force. So most old heroes' Oath Force are just basically stat increase. But for heroes released after Gaia and Elisha, their Oath Force is not only stat but also has bonus effects. Yeah, so that's why it's better to invest them if all of your heroes are already get to 7 star and 8 star. You should still prioritize getting all of the heroes in S plus tier, S tier, and A tier to 7 star or 8 star, depending on whether you need their synergies or not. However, after they all reaches 8 star, you should prioritize upgrading the newer heroes. I mean the heroes that's released after Elisha and Gaia, because their star level after 8 star matters more than the old heroes. And that's it for Elisha, Dahlia, and Gaia. All of these good heroes, their names seem to rhyme. We also have Cleopatra and Eudora. The next hero I want to talk about is Aphrodite. Yeah, unfortunately she doesn't rhyme. If you look at Azu's tier list, you will know that Aphrodite is not very high up compared to some other heroes. I think that's because this rating cannot capture how broken she is in PvP. Like, she's given highest score S plus in PvP, but that's not enough. She's way better than all the other S plus heroes, because the fact that she can steal one enemy every time she casts her ultimate, and she will cast ultimate whenever any unit die on battlefield, which means that she can steal one enemy, and when the enemy she steals dies, she will steal another one and repeat infinitely until there's only one enemy left. If you have Aphrodite on your team, then even though you might be much weaker than your opponent in terms of your whole team's power level, you can still win if you're lucky. So yeah, a pretty toxic hero if you ask me. Next we have Ra, one of the new heroes in this season. Let's take a look at her first passive. Ra protects allies by taking damage in their place and restore 50% HP and 2 stack of Holy Shield each round. So this is two different abilities, but for some reason they put it in one sentence. So the first part is she takes damage for her allies as long as she is above 25% HP. And Azu has come up with a really good idea. At just 6-star, Ra can effectively replace a 7-star armor for Rift Odyssey stages, offering a massive improvement at a lower cost. Positioned in the black lane, Ra can absorb damage while paired with the Undying Shield, making her invincible. So for those of you who don't know, Undying Shield is an artifact, and its ability is keep backline allies alive, retaining at a minimum of 30%, which is higher than Ra's 25%, as long as at least one frontline ally is alive during the battle. So since Ra can take damage for frontline allies, which means that your whole team is invulnerable. This is even better than Elmer, because for Elmer, your team will have 4 units being invulnerable, but in Ra's case, your whole team cannot be killed. Yeah, so that's really good. And in addition, she has another ability that can grant 2 stack of Holy Shield to your whole team each round, and it also randomly increase your team's max HP. So this is her first passive, and her second passive is even more broken. It's gonna be a hard ability to play because it might backfires. It says when Ra is deployed, every 2 rounds she initiates duel between one ally with the highest attack and one enemy with the lowest attack. The ally takes 50% less damage, and both sides will cast their ultimate with fight time damage, with the ally striking first. So there will be a way that this ability is broken. First, in PvE, the enemy's ultimate ability is gonna be less impactful because, so like if we take a look at the later stages of Palace of Penrose, the enemy heroes, they are not great heroes. The reason we are struggling to beat these stages is because their enemies have way higher stats than us. Like, for example, my stats is like 2951. The enemy is 26301. So they have 10 times the power. But my advantage is my heroes. They have better abilities. They are good heroes. The enemies, they have bad heroes. So if, like, let's say my units cast their ultimate with 5 time damage, and the enemy also casts their ultimate with 5 time damage, it's gonna be better for me because the enemies, they already have a lot of stats. Their damage is already really high, and the reason I can survive the enemy damage is because maybe I have Monarch Synergy or I have Holy Shield. And the reason the enemies can survive me is with their health bar. So me dealing 5 time damage is gonna be, and if you're in the season game mode like the Rift Odyssey, it's even better because your team has the Holy Shield combo with Ra's first ability. They cannot die anyway. So it's basically your units get to cast their ultimate with 5 time damage for free. Next, I want to talk about Pandora. So in the past, I'm only focusing on her ability to turn everyone into Themis. So like when ally kills an enemy, they will cast that skill again. However, I missed the fact that she's a really good damage dealer in PvE, especially against bosses. The reason is her second passive. Whenever Pandora casts her skill coefficient are increased by 200% up to 2000. And once you get her to 9-star, her basic attack as well as her non-ultimate active skill will all replaced by her ultimate ability. So she's gonna keep casting her ultimate that already makes her damage really high, and each time she casts her ultimate, the damage is gonna become higher. This makes her really good against bosses, and her rune skill is also really good because when she takes action, she will has a chance to take another action that's really high DPS. So this makes her really good in both PvP and PvE. Next, we have our new hero, Isis. So she's a unique one because at the start of each round, Isis randomly summons a fallen hero. So this can be both ally or enemies. Adds a spirit hero into an allied empty slot. So it cannot summon heroes or spirit heroes identical to those currently alive on your side. And if no eligible target exists, no summon occurs. And the spirit heroes inherit 200% of original heroes' base stats as well as their active and passive skill. I think this is really good because as you can see, there's no limit to this. As long as you have open slot, then every round she's gonna summon a fallen hero and then summon another one and then another one. And it's really good with Aphrodite. They have the exact same synergy. They're both Avengers, Celestial, Monarch. It's also that Aphrodite, all the Phantom Illusion effect, has trouble clearing the last enemy, especially in PvE. So, like, yeah, the Phantom Illusion requires at least two enemies. If there's only one target left, she cannot charm any enemies. But if there's only one enemy left, that means there's a lot of fallen heroes. And if there's a lot of fallen heroes, that means Isis can summon them to your team and then overwhelm the last enemy. Also, one issue with Aphrodite is that if she's the first hero that died, that means she doesn't get to charm enemies. But if you have Isis, she can summon and spirit form Aphrodite on your team. Her second passive is when she's alive, each time a unit dies or is revived, all allies gain 10W attack and 1 million HP. So 10W is basically 100k. So in Chinese, we have a unit called Wan, which is WAN. That's why I assume it, not assume, I actually get confirmation by the dev. So W is basically means 10k. So this is 100k attack and 1 million HP, and this can stack up to 30 times. So this is also really good because if you are playing her in an Avengers team, this means that your units will be reviving multiple times, and each time an ally revive, it means they have to die first and then revive. So it's two stack of this buff. So she's gonna be really good in Avengers. And she's also really good outside of Avengers because her first passive actually works well with non-Avengers team because if your units are reviving themselves, then she cannot summon the spirit heroes. So this makes her really good in both PvP and PvE and both in Avenger and outside of Avenger. So she's really flexible. That's why I'm putting her in S tier. And unfortunately, in comparison, Bahamut is gonna be the weakest among all the new heroes, but she's still useful. That's why she's in the B tier because she's a Glorian and the Glorian synergy is always useful. And if the enemy is not playing Glorian, you can punish them by applying stun to them every round. And that's it for this tier list. Don't forget to use Aptoid and apply the promo code ChronoOH when you are recharging in the game. It's gonna help you save money and it's gonna help my channel. It's a win-win scenario. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching.